is pain and suffering quantified in an auto accident settlement? I mean, you can get a settlement, but you could still, endure a lot of pain and suffering, for the rest of your life. I mean, how do you quantify that?
It's funny. In workers' comp, they try to set up mathematical formulas for impairment ratings and industrial disability ratings, they sometimes call them. And they're trying to quantify something that can't really be quantified. Where we over here in the automobile wreck industry world, an area of law, we embrace that you cannot, with mathematical certain precision, quantify pain and suffering. And so you've got to, as the attorney, gather those medical records and those medical opinions that you can paint a picture for the adjuster of what the person's pain and suffering is. And also, you can talk to people's loved ones and family members and spouses about what a day in the life for them looks like to help paint that picture of what their pain and suffering is for the adjuster. It is not simply just the person who's suffering to tell the adjuster about it. It's about collecting information from both experts, the medical professionals, and loved ones to paint this entire picture and explain to the adjuster why this level of suffering, this level of change in a person's ability to get through life on a daily basis has value, and that value needs to be recognized.
There's a famous case where a woman spilt coffee on her at a drive-through at McDonald's, and she got like $30 million from McDonald's for that. Do you remember that case? Are you familiar with it?
I'm not. I've heard the legend. I mean, I assume at the bottom of the legend there's an actual case down there somewhere, but no, I'm not familiar with it.
But how is that possible? I mean, how did they come up with that kind of number?
I don't. I can only imagine and guess and speculate about what was going on there. I mean, I can think that burns are extremely painful, especially if you pour an extremely hot liquid over your groin area. That's a very sensitive area and can do a lot of damage that can be very life altering. Also, you don't know on the other end of the equation what the people handing her that, I'll assume, very hot liquid knew about the very hot liquid and knew how hot it was, and how many complaints they had in the past about, you've got to stop handing out the coffee that hot. You're hurting people. How many people had they hurt in the past before they handed out the coffee like that? So, number one, how massively it might have affected someone's life. And then on the other side, was there a punishment component to it that we call punitive damages? Some states call that exemplary damages, because the seller of the coffee, had just been warned repeatedly and hurt numerous people and just wouldn't stop handing people an excessively hot liquid. So my guess would be somewhere in there is what was driving a number like that.
So the punitive damages, is that something that the judge or the jury, or how is that figured out?
Punitive damages are, if you meet certain requirements, you can then ask a jury for it could be a jury or it could be a judge for punitive damages. And those are not damages to make up for the harm you've suffered and the loss of enjoyment of life you're suffering, and how your injuries are affecting your ability to get through life on a daily basis. Punitive damages are not about that. They're about punishing wrongful conduct of the person who hurt you, because generally their conduct was just so horrible and so over the top, and they so should have known better, that they need to be punished for it. So you don't often see punitive damages. They're extremely rare. Most often you'll see them with a drunk driving case. So if you have someone who's a drunk driver, you'll often see juries ask for punitive damages because it's so obvious you shouldn't drive drunk. You could hurt yourself and others. But that's punitive damages. Don't see them much. Usually it's with drunk drivers, most commonly.
Yeah.